What if every person you met was treated as infinitely valuable? How would that change the world? Could ancient laws hold the secret to resolving modern conflicts with love and respect? Imagine uncovering a wisdom so profound it transforms how you see every human being. Where would you find it? In a world often marked by division and disrespect, Jesus of Nazareth offered a radical vision in his Sermon on the Mount, a blueprint for a life of righteousness, where every person is treated with dignity and conflicts are resolved with care. As a Jewish teacher steeped in the Hebrew scriptures, Jesus believed the Torah and prophets held God's timeless wisdom for living justly. By meditating on these ancient laws, he taught we can learn to do right by others in ways that honor their God-given value. In this iconic sermon, Jesus unpacks 3 commands on murder, adultery, and divorce, revealing the deeper wisdom beneath them. Each case study challenges us to examine our hearts and ask, how do my actions reflect the worth I place on others? Let's dive into his teachings and discover how they can reshape our relationships and communities. Murder beyond the act to the heart of contempt. Have you ever considered that a harsh word or angry outburst could carry the same weight as a deadly act? Jesus begins with a command that seems straightforward but carries profound implications. He quotes from the 10 Commandments, "You have heard it was said to the ancients, 'You shall not commit murder.'" Then he expands it, "But I say to you, everyone who is angry with his brother will be guilty in the court. And whoever says to his brother, 'You good for nothing,' will face the high court." Murder is serious, no one disputes that. But Jesus grabs our attention by equating it with anger and verbal abuse. Is he saying losing your temper is as bad as taking a life? Not quite. His point is deeper. Murder, anger, and name-calling are all symptoms of the same root issue: how much or how little we value another person's existence. Murder is the ultimate denial of someone's worth, but so is belittling them with insults or harboring contempt in your heart. What does your anger reveal about how you see others? Jesus uses hyperbole to drive this home provocatively, suggesting that devaluing someone through a sneer, a curse, or a grudge wreaks havoc in relationships and communities. It's not just about avoiding physical harm. It's about cultivating a heart that sees every person as a reflection of God's image. The wisdom of this command challenges us to root out attitudes of superiority and replace them with respect. Could letting go of contempt transform your interactions? Adultery, honoring dignity over desire. What if a single glance could betray the dignity of another person or even your own heart? Jesus turns to another command, peeling back its layers to reveal its deeper call to righteousness. He cites the Torah, "You have heard it was said, 'You shall not commit adultery.'" Then he adds, "But I say to you, everyone who keeps staring at a woman to stir up sexual desire has already committed adultery with her in his heart." Adultery violates trust and covenant, but Jesus digs deeper. He's not talking about noticing someone's beauty that's human. He's addressing the lingering, objectifying stare that reduces a person to an object for personal gratification. Have you ever caught yourself viewing someone as less than a person stripped of their God-given dignity? This mindset, Jesus warns, dishonors both the other person and ourselves, even if no physical act occurs. To emphasize the stakes, Jesus employs vivid hyperbole. If your eye or hand causes you to sin, cut them off. Is he advocating self-mutilation? Of course not. He's already said the issue lies in the heart, not the body. But his exaggerated language underscores the urgency. Unchecked desires can ruin relationships and erode our integrity. Raised on the Hebrew scriptures, Jesus saw sex as a gift, but when desire drives us to dehumanize others, it becomes destructive. The wisdom here is clear. Righteousness means mastering our impulses to honor every person's inherent worth. What steps could you take to guard your heart and eyes? Divorce, protecting the vulnerable, upholding covenant. Could a misused law turn a sacred bond into a tool of oppression? Jesus tackles a debated issue of his day: divorce, revealing how God's wisdom protects the vulnerable and upholds mutual respect. He references a Torah law. "It has been said, whoever sends away his wife must give her a certificate of divorce." Then he clarifies, "But I say to you, any man who sends away his wife, except for sexual immorality, makes her the victim of adultery." In Jesus' time, only men could initiate divorce, creating a power imbalance that often left women vulnerable. The Torah's divorce law required a certificate and a legitimate reason, but scholars disagreed on what legitimate meant. Some allowed divorce for any reason, even trivial dissatisfaction, while others, including Jesus, limited it to serious breaches like adultery. Why does Jesus take this stance? By siding with the stricter view, Jesus protects women from being discarded unjustly. He provocatively argues that an illegitimate divorce doesn't dissolve the marriage covenant in God's eyes, so remarriage becomes adultery. The blame he stresses falls on men who abuse their authority, forcing women into vulnerable positions. What does this say about using power responsibly in relationships? In a culture where men held disproportionate control, Jesus' teaching elevates women's dignity, insisting they be treated as equal images of God. He doesn't address other valid reasons for divorce like abuse or neglect, focusing instead on the misuse of this law to objectify and discard women. The wisdom here is about honoring the marriage covenant as a partnership of mutual respect, reflecting God's image together. How might this principle apply to modern relationships? Practical steps to live out Jesus' wisdom. How can we embody this righteousness in today's world? Here are actionable ways to honor others as God's image bearers. Guard your heart against contempt. When anger rises, pause and ask, am I valuing this person's worth? Practice patience and empathy, replacing insults with words that build up. Respect others' dignity. Train your eyes and mind to see people as whole persons, not objects. If tempted to objectify, redirect your thoughts through prayer or focus on their humanity. Honor commitments. In relationships, prioritize mutual respect and responsibility. If faced with conflict, seek solutions that protect everyone's dignity, avoiding selfish or dismissive actions. Meditate on Scripture. Study the Torah and prophets, reflecting on how their wisdom applies today. Journal your insights to deepen your understanding of righteous living. Seek accountability. Share your journey with a trusted friend or mentor, asking them to help you stay true to treating others with respect and humility. A vision for a transformed world. Jesus' teachings in these case studies aren't just about following rules, they're about transforming our hearts to see every person as infinitely valuable. He redefines righteousness as living with a posture of humility, respect, and love rooted in God's wisdom. By meditating on the Scriptures, Jesus shows us how to move beyond surface obedience to a deeper commitment to honor the image of God in everyone. What would our communities look like if we embraced this vision? His announcement of God's kingdom was a call to reimagine a world where dignity and justice reign. These three case studies, murder, adultery, and divorce, reveal how our core desires shape how we treat others. By aligning our hearts with God's wisdom, we can foster healthier relationships and build a world that reflects His love. Next, we'll explore three more teachings from the Sermon on the Mount on keeping your word, responding to injustice, and loving those who challenge us most. If this struck something deep within you, click like to spread light in a world wrapped in temptation. Share it with a brother who might be needing freedom from their own lust trap. Comment below what part resonated most. What are you ready to change now, Haas? And don't forget to subscribe to receive more content to help you live pure, strong, and triumphant daily. A true man isn't one who resists lust. He's one who starves it from the start. And you can do it starting today.